Personal rank 1. Personal rank 1. Yo, what is good, you guys? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to teach you how to play staff dagger in large scale, small scale, doesn't really matter. The build performs in all types of content, as well as PvE is very strong. Very happy to say it's S tier. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about this class by the end of the video. Alright, so to start with, I just wanted to show you guys how the build performs in PvP. I will also show you some PvE clips later. There is a slight difference in the PvE version of this build. However, by the end of this video, like I said, I will get you guys right for both PvP and PvE. I just wanted to let you guys see like how the build performs in competitive 3v3s as well as open world combat. The build performs very well on large scale, small scale. Like, it's the most well-rounded of all the weapon setups. So I really hope you guys like the video. Thanks for watching.
I also gave you my barrier.
I see someone here.
Yeah, I got stunned.
I killed one. I'm stealthy. I'm low.
Okay.
Where'd the other one go?
You can do it right now. You're fine.
Where'd the other one go?
I don't know.
What is good, you guys? We are here on Soul Asher, my main character on Hyper Boost Server 2 in Korea. And what we are going to do, I'm going to show you my PvE build. I'm going to show you my PvE build. Then I'm going to show you my gear. I'm going to get started. Alright. Start with PvP. Staff dagger PvP. These are the passives that we are going for. We have Rifle Edge for crit damage, Shadow Walker for extra evasion, melee, magic, range, crit. Then we're getting the magical crit from Destructive Fame. Those are all from the dagger tree. From the staff, we are getting flame condensation. Then we're also using mana amp to increase HP and mana. Forbidden Sanctuary for mana efficiency and skill damage boost. That is by far the most important one. And then we have Echoic Barrier. When silenced, silence duration decreased. Okay. Mana Ball Eruption is pretty good, pretty useful. However, I just don't use it for PvP. I just felt like many people question why you're not using this because of the extra mana regen. Well, just don't use it for PvP. Really good in PvE. And it is in my PvE. But for my skills, we are using the Shadow Strike, Icebound Tomb. This is extremely important for PvP. Icebound Tomb is so good for like 1vx situations or even just organized group play from like isolating a target. That way you can focus on the same target as your teammate. Alright, so and then we also have Ice Sphere, Serial Firebombs, Chain Thunder, originally Chain Lightning. And we are also using Ankle Strike, Camouflage Cloak Stealth, Judgment Lightning, Frost Smokescreen, Victorious Energy, and then Lightning Infusion. For the skill specializations, that's what's actually important. For Shadow Strike, we have Range Up. That's extremely important because with it, the range is 16. Without it, the range is 12. And those meters definitely matter in PvP. The first person who gets their combo generally wins when you're playing a squishy class like Staff Dagger. And then we're going for Lightning Infusion, mana cost decreased, and then it turns it into Lightning Infusion with this, and then basically we're applying Weakening Thunderclouds, which is going to reduce their endurance, which effectively gives you more critical hit chance. The lower their endurance, the higher your crit chance. We're using Ankle Strike to decrease their movement speed and trip them on Shadow Strike. So Shadow Strike binds, Ankle Strike trips upon hitting a bound target and decreases their movement speed. And then we're also getting cooldown reduction on our Stealth, because Stealth is a really important defensive skill. It's also a good opening skill. We literally have every skill specialization on Firebomb that we possibly can, other than the cast time. We want it to be instant. The only cast time skill we want is Judgment Lightning, because Judgment Lightning does massive amount of damage, especially when it's heavy attack, because you use the skill twice. So we want Zero Firebombs to be instant. We're going for every single one, like mandatory in every single stat build, honestly. We're going for the CC immunity on Inner Peace, that way we can bait some stuns and use Inner Peace. It's a very strategic skill. You have to use it at the right moment if you know that they're going to engage on you with a CC skill. Ice Spear Bombardment, mandatory. Every staff build, you want to have these two. The bind is optional, right? But Ice Bombardment and the damage boost, mandatory. You just have to have it if you get staff. There's no reason not to. The bind is really good for PvP though, because let's say you Ice Bombardment and the bind misses, then you can Shadow Strike into the trip. Or if you Shadow Strike and that bind misses, then you can Ice Spear Bombardment into Ankle Strike. But essentially, you have two binds. It guarantees you a trip if you can land one of those binds usually. And then Victorious Energy is giving us a massive hit and evasion buff, making us tanky while also countering other evasion builds. Staff is really good to counter evasion builds. Then we have max damage increase, giving us more effective damage on all of our skills. We're using Chain Lightning, which is going to do damage over time, and then it's also going to chain to other enemies on Judgment Lightning, and then casting time is added. But that casting time that's added makes Judgment Lightning do so much damage with the second follow-up skill. Highly recommend this skill. And the main combo that you're going to be using is actually Shadow Step into Ankle Strike straight into Judgment Lightning. This is one of the best combos, and it can one combo most enemies who are below like 10k HP. Yeah, those are my PvP skills passives, you guys. Oh, also I recommend for PvP you use Block Blade if you want more stealth. So I would say for like smaller scale. However, I think for larger scale, because of the mobility, Magic Shield is better. But I mean, overall, Block Blade is better, and you're gonna be like on limited skill books, so it's probably better to always go with Block Blade if you have daggers in your offhand, because it's just so good for PvE, because it generates mana when someone hits you with a fury attack. But anyway, all right, so on to my PvE. And the passes for the dagger and the staff are the same, or the masteries are the same, so I'm gonna go over those last. But for my staff for PvE, we're using Forbidden Sanctuary again. We're using Flame Condensation for the extra heavy attack. We're using Mana Amp, and then we're also using Mana Bar Eruption for the extra mana, mostly. More critical hit, more crit damage from Wrathful Edge, more critical hit from Destructive Fang, and more evasion. More evasion from Shadow Walker. Basically the same 4 passives I always get with Dagger. You honestly could get away with not using Shadow Walker for PvE, but I think Shadow Walker is still better than the Mana Regen or Echoic Barrier for PvE, but personal preference, I suppose. All right, so the main difference between our PvE and our PvP build is that instead of ankle strike, we are using cleaving moonlight with the skill specialization consecutive use. This does actually AoE. It does pretty decent damage. That is the main skill change, right? However, the skill specialization changes are a little different. I'm not using the mana cost decrease. I'm using the cooldown decrease on lightning infusion. And then the only other specialization is cleaving moonlight. Only 25 points in dagger. Fuel fire bombs is the same. Chain lightning is the same. However, this is PvE, so you could go from instant invocation to focus fire bombs if you want more damage, or if you notice that you have you don't have enough cast or cooldown reduction where you can utilize all your skills in rotation without any downtime. Yeah, it's personal preference. I still like the instant cast on fire bombs. For inner peace, we're using the duration increase because that's going to effectively give you about double the mana you would get if you didn't have this skill specialization. We just don't use it for PvP for obvious reasons. We don't have enough time to use it. But yeah, Ice Spear Bombardment, again, I'm still using the same 3. Bind is optional for PvE. Victorious Energy, same 2. More evasion, more hit, more damage. Judgment Lightning, same 3. Doesn't change. And yeah, so like I said, main difference is really just cleaving moonlight and the specializations on my infusion, really. But yeah, that is those are our skills, you guys. So let me go over masteries. Staff mastery, I'm going for bonus damage into cooldown speed. Cooldown reduction I think is really important on staff. And then after I've gone this route, I mean, if I really wanted to greed for damage, I could go for brutal destruction. However, I don't think it's worth it over all of the resistances and evasion that I would get up here, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just go full glass cannon, never know. But I would say for the first 10, guaranteed cooldown speed. And then dagger, I just love going to the top because it gives me resistances and defense and more evasion. And I'm stacking as much evasion as I possibly can on this build, for obvious reasons. Okay. Now, one thing before I move to my gear that I want to mention for you guys, for PvP, there is an alternate. For PvP, what you can do is actually use the Salvation Chain, creates a shield. You'll lose mana instead of HP when being hit. This is really good if you think that you're going to be opened, like if they're going to open up on you, or if you want to bait some cooldowns and you're fighting stealth users, because once the stealth user comes out of stealth, they hit you in your bubble, you will still have your stealth and they will have wasted partial cooldowns, right? So Salvation Chain is a really good skill and I would use it in place of Inner Peace for PvP. Alright, so onto the gear. My gear is not perfect in the actual game. However, I will show you guys what I'm wearing. So in all my clips and all my videos, you know exactly what I'm wearing. 50 strength, 40 dex. Okay, I'm at like 3k combat power now. The main thing that I'll point out is the heavy attack chance on my tier 2 chest piece, and then this staff, tier 2 staff, even though it's only +7, it's not fully maxed. These are probably my 2 strongest pieces, even though staff doesn't have a huge amount of combat power because it's missing traits. But then basically what I'm doing with my gear, my whole mentality is my gear is I'm getting damage reduction from the Grand Generals, damage reduction from my pants, and then bonus damage, perception, and then all my stats, my main DPS stats, and then more damage reduction here. I'm getting damage reduction, damage reduction, damage reduction, damage reduction, stacking as much DR as possible, and stacking bonus damage where I can, because bonus damage is extremely good DPS stat. And then we're getting like for our traits on our cape, this is really important. Skill damage resistance, max mana. Skill damage resistance is just a really important one, honestly. crit hit, mana regen, cooldown, speed. Okay, I'm just highlighting the most important stats, you guys. And then I'm gonna go over the build, like how it would look if I had like perfect gear. Okay, yeah, for my dagger has a good mana regen, hit, critical hit. Honestly, if I could choose what I wanted, and this is a perfect world, I would have a lot of heavy attack on both my weapons. But yeah, this isn't a perfect world. So let me show you what the build would look like in a perfect world. Let me go ahead and pull this up. All right, so if we were in a perfect world, this is somewhat what my gear set would look like for a staff dagger build. Start with my main weapon, which is the Fallen Angel's Rod, same one I'm using currently in game. However, it will be T9, and more importantly, the traits that I would have on it would be hit, heavy attack chance, and critical hit. One thing you could do instead of hit is to stack HP, and that would make this build a lot more tankier because you are technically getting hit from your buff. The only thing that I'm afraid of is the pure evasion builds. They're stacking really high evasion. I don't want to miss any parts of my skills. All right, so my dagger, same thing, hit, heavy attack chance, critical hit. +9 Aquarius Thorny Edge. So for the Grand Generals, it's the same thing. This Grand Generals is literally just for the damage reduction. And then the difference with this build is that I'm getting damage reduction, but I'm also getting a 2-piece bonus from Ghost Wolf, which is giving me bonus damage. I'm getting bonus damage and damage reduction from these two sets. Whereas currently in game, I'm only getting damage reduction from my pants. Even though I did have T2 gloves, it wasn't part of a set, so it's not worth it, right? Keep that in mind, guys. T2 is not worth it if you can't fully trade it and it's not part of a set. Your set bonuses are really important. I wanted to go to T2 on the Korean server, that way I could test this. However, from my experience, I'll tell you guys right now, T2 is not worth it if you can't fully trade it. If you have a T1 that's fully traded versus a T2 that you can't fully trade, keep the T1 and fully max it out before you worry about it. But yeah, so for the T2 chest piece, this is the first T2 piece that I will try and farm even before my weapon is the Sacred Vanquishers, because it drops from Silence Abyss. But we don't need the set bonus for this. What we need is the 60 heavy attack chance that's inherent statted on the chest piece. The weaken chance is really good, the wisdom is really good, but the heavy attack chance is best. And we are also stacking evasion, magic evasion, melee evasion, and endurance here. For our helmet, melee evasion, range evasion, melee endurance, it's usually best to stack the same type of evasions. With melee evasion, you need so much that if you go a melee evasion, you need to stack a lot of it. Our cape, stun resistance, skill damage resistance, petrification resistance. Skill damage resistance is the best stat on the cape. The other stats are secondary. For our gloves, more range evasion, more magic evasion. Range and magic are our two top evasions that I'm sliding for. Honestly, melee evasion is just there. But yeah, added attack speed on our gloves. Max health, find chance, skill damage boost, max health, skill damage resistance, and debuff duration. Max mana regen, skill damage boost. That is a very essential trait to get on your ring. Skill damage boost. Like, I'm going over all the traits, you guys, but I'm really calling out the ones that you really have to target, the ones that are really important. Like skill damage boost, max health on your accessories are really important where you can get them. If you can get skill damage resistance, that's also really good. But skill damage boost and max HP are the most important stats to have on your accessories. And then again over here, max health, damage boost, duration. On a belt, we still have the DR belt. I just really love Butcher's belt. It's really good. DR, max health, weaken resistance, max health, stun resistance, field damage resistance, all extremely good stats. I love this belt, I really do. But yeah, that is our ideal gear setup, you guys, with traits and all. And then obviously we would go for 50 wisdom for the cooldown reduction. Also, wisdom is the most beneficial damage stat, right, in terms of giving you max damage per stat point. However, another variation of this would be to go 50 strength, because 50 strength is going to give me 100 extra heavy attack chance, and heavy attack chance is extremely good on stack. So those are the two ways that you would allocate stat points. It's either go for 50 wisdom or go for 50 strength, and both are possible with this gear set. So take your pick. I'm gonna theory test both and let you know what I think later on, but this is my build right now, you guys. Thanks so much for watching.